The man is having a baby. Not my words, the words on the back of the VHS release of Junior starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. We at Cultaholic send our congratulations to Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Of course, we talked all about that in the previous news video with Jack, but there is other wrestling news to address. So let's crack on. Future plans for Otis have potentially been revealed following his Money in the Bank win. Former WWE champions made their return to Raw last night, and find out the shocking thing that Vince McMahon did during the WrestleMania rehearsal. You are gonna want to hear this. So we know the fate of the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, but what of the men's, won by Otis on Sunday? And the reaction to Otis becoming Mr. Money in the Bank has ranged from elation to frustration. I was on Sunday both celebrating with like-minded fans and being blocked by less so like-minded fans after I'm genuinely jubilant about Otis winning Money in the Bank. Why not? Stranger things have happened. Let it be a thing. We're going to find out on Friday, it looks like, the fate, the very fate, of the Money in the Bank briefcase, as Otis is set to appear on Miz TV, where it's suggested that he will outline his plans as Mr. Money in the Bank. Now, per an interview that Otis did a while ago regarding Money in the Bank, and per a few other sources around the wrestling industry, it's looking likely that Otis will use the Money in the Bank briefcase to garner a tag team title opportunity for himself and Tucky. So Heavy Machinery could become a tag team Money in the Bank type scenario, presumably waiting for a tag title match to come to an end and then bombing it down to the ring and cashing in, which is a very different way of using the Money in the Bank briefcase. I guess they've never suggested that you can cash in for something other than the top belt on your brand. But I guess, you know, why would you do anything other than that? But then if Otis has got a friendship with Tucky and they want to go after the tag belts, then it's a reasonable way to do it. Lots of speculation on what they could do with it. You could see Otis hand over the briefcase to Mandy for a women's title match. That could be a thing. There is speculation on what will happen with the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe the IC title's in there. Otis cracks it open. Otis is the IC champ. Stranger things have happened. We will find out on Friday what Otis plans to do as Mr. Money in the Bank. How happy were you on Raw to hear, you gotta be joking me, the IKonics making their return to WWE TV? We haven't seen them since November. They were drafted over to Raw, and they were just a highlight every time they were in the ring. Just boundless, effortless, limitless charisma from Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. They made their return on Raw last night as part of a moment of bliss, and without going into too many details, because I'll tell you more about it on Raw Graded later on, they are back in the picture for a women's tag team championship opportunity, which I'm absolutely fine for. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. A lot of people have been asking where they've been. They've not been injured. They're not in trouble. They've just been off TV. They seem to have just been resting on TV, and we've just been clamoring for them to come back and add a little bit of weight to the women's tag team division, because as great as it is to have a women's tag team division, you kind of need women's tag teams in order to pull that off. And the IKonics really made an impact in that division, where they won the belts at WrestleMania a year or so ago, having the longest reign. They were counting day by day. It was great fun. Welcome back, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Lovely to see you. From the women's tag team division of WWE to the knockouts division of Impact Wrestling, it's been confirmed that they have re-signed Sooyoung to a contract at Impact Wrestling. I really wanted to mention this because Sooyoung is one of those performers that is so unique in the wrestling world, and for Impact to have Sooyoung on the books is a really, really nice piece of that knockout puzzle. They kind of went back and forth on negotiations for a long while, but PW Insider have confirmed that Sooyoung was very much part of the company now, and Impact later confirmed it as well. Impact are in the can for the next, I think, another 10 weeks or so. They taped a whole bunch of stuff. How is this for time management, right? They taped like 12 weeks worth of television in 3 days. That is That is effective time management. That is excellent. Whether we'll see Sooyoung on these tapings, we are yet to find out. The last time that we did see her, she was in a wild Undead Realm match against Jessica Havoc. So expect more shenanigans of that ilk when Sooyoung gets her motor running in Impact Wrestling again. WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley. Da-da-da. I can't do any more, I'll get demonetized. He's off on a speaking tour later in the year when all of this blows over, so he could be coming to a town near you. But he recently talked about the origin of his catchphrase, bang bang, which is something that he used as Cactus Jack quite a bit. You know, the double guns, the bang bang. The humble beginnings of bang bang were outlined by Mick Foley in a quote in an interview with Fightful. Goes as following. Wasn't even aware that I made noises throughout my matches. It just came from my subconscious. So Mick Foley up there with Lex Luger, one of the noisiest wrestlers. Etc. Bang Bang had maybe the most humble of origins, he says. I dropped an elbow on nasty Ned Brady in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think it was one day before I'd lost 2 teeth in a car accident. The song from B-52's Love Shack just went through my mind. And I looked up at the camera, he had teeth missing, looked up at the camera and he just went, bang, 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 on the door, baby. So he never used on the door, baby, ever again, but the bang, bang bit stayed. Basically, the more meaningful and the more I believed in the gesture, the better the match was going to be. So that is where Bang Bang came from a B-52 song. I'm now waiting for somebody to use the catchphrase Rock Lobster in wrestling. If it's not Brock Lesnar, I'll be sad. Bobby Lashley, but not Bobby Lashley. Vincent Kennedy McMahon continues to prove to lead from the front. So over decades of the career of Vince McMahon, he has done a lot of in-ring stuff. He's always said that he wouldn't ask talent to do stuff that he himself wasn't willing to do. And that was in full effect in the rehearsal for WrestleMania 36. So this comes from Fightful, and I'm blown away by this. At the age of 74 years old, Rob Gronkowski was somewhat nervous about doing the dive that he did at WrestleMania. You know, the one where he dived onto the wrestlers and ended up winning the 24/7 title. Very much out of his wheelhouse, didn't feel like doing it. So Vince McMahon, according to Fightful Select, decided to show Rob Gronkowski it's all fine. So he climbed up onto the balcony and did the dive himself. Vince McMahon, at 74 years old, climbed up onto the balcony, dived off onto people, stood up and went, it's not so bad, is it? I had to check and make sure that was what he said, as opposed to, ow, that really hurt. Obviously, Gronk ended up doing the move and it was fine, but it's a great example of Vince McMahon leading from the front. He's always been one to do that. Like, he will never ask talent to do stuff he's not willing to do himself. So, the idea of Vince taking that dive at 74 years old, I hope someone filmed it. Someone must have filmed it. That's going to be in a documentary series at some point. Genuinely, this whole time period is going to make an amazing tell-all documentary down the road. And if that tell-all documentary doesn't feature Vince McMahon doing the dive, I'm going to be very, 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 very disappointed. That is your Cultaholic news for today. Raw graded on the Cultaholic YouTube channel a little later on. We'll break down everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. Also, WTF moments from Raw a bit later on the channel as well. And if you're not doing so already, by the way, we're on Twitch at Twitch TV /Cultaholic. And you can watch Adam Pacitti throughout the week playing video games, just larking about, whatever. Some of the highlights on the Twitch stream, we mentioned this the other day, some of the highlights on the Twitch stream have been Adam Pacitti playing Resident Evil VR. That man knows no fear. You talk about leading from the front, I wouldn't do it. Pacitti's doing it, he's a brave man. And on the podcast feed later on this week, If you don't already, subscribe to Cultaholic wherever you get your podcasts from. We do daily wrestling news podcasts. We do reviews of classic episodes of Raw and SmackDown. And we do Desert Island Graps on the weekly. I know you've seen some episodes on here with the guys from Cultaholic and Triple Jump, but we do them every week with wrestlers from all around the world. And tomorrow on the podcast feed, you will hear from former NXT UK star Jazzy Gabbert. Alpha Female is going to be chatting with me on Desert Island Graps, picking her 3 favourite wrestling matches and talking about her life and times. It's really good fun. If you need stuff for your ears whilst you're killing time in quarantine, let us be your ear-tertainment. Yeah, that works. We'll take that. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.